much. Okay, thank you everyone for showing up. This is a wonderful turnout, so give yourselves a round of applause. Let's start with that. Thank you for coming to the March meeting of City Island Rising. I want to thank everyone for coming here. My name is John Doyle. I'm the chair of our board. We have with us from our steering committee, we have Dan Triber, we have Millie Perez, and David Diaz was around here. He might have just stepped out for a moment, but he's here as well. We want to thank you all for coming out to build community with us. There is a lot going on, so I kept the agenda light so we could have a spirited discussion about anything that people want to talk about. I'm going to breeze through the community items very quick. As everyone recalls, last meeting we had a guest speaker, and they went for the entirety of the entire meeting. So as a result, we didn't get a chance to discuss a lot of community issues, so we thought this would be a good break of pattern. This will be just exclusively about community issues. So the first up is Preston High School. As people here may have heard, Preston High School is slated for closure at the end of the year due to a decision by their board. I know some people both on our board and just regular residents have kids in that school, so it's a very sad thing. I know there have been some offers that were just broken in the Bronx Times of different types of private entities trying to buy Preston, preserve Preston, things like that. But it is something that I think we're all monitoring closely. I know a lot of people sent their kids to Preston. My mom went to Preston. My aunt went to Preston. My sisters went to Preston. My mother jokes her granddaughters are going to go to Preston. So we'll find out how exactly what happens there. But I just wanted to put it on the agenda because, again, it is something that affects the community. And what we try to do is make sure that people are aware of what's going on, even if it's on the far side of the bridge. Second issue is we are doing a Narcan training. This is naloxone training, as is also commonly known. It's a 1-hour training with the Department of Health, where they will teach you how to distribute a Narcan kit. Presentation and the instructions go on for about an hour to 90 minutes with the Q&A. And at the end, you get your own Narcan kit, and it allows you, because you make a contact there with DOH, that if you use the Narcan, you can email your contact, and they will send you a new Narcan, free of charge. So it's a good training for everyone to have, as we have all went through a few times here. We have been kind of ground zero for the opioid epidemic over the years. We all know the names, we all remember the faces. So this is a very meaningful and easy way you can give an hour of your time to possibly save a life. If you're interested, just email us at cityislandrising, all one word, at gmail.com. So that's something we are working on as well. 3PK struggle. So 3PK, for those who don't know, is the 3-year-old pre-kindergarten. For years, this organization, in concert with our elected officials, has pushed for universal pre-kindergarten. Obviously, last year, a last-minute decision was made to include UPK, which is the 4-year-old program, in the school building. I know a lot of little City Islanders are happy about that, and we're glad for that. We're trying, because there had been a contract with Bronx House arranged by Assemblymember Benedetto and others for a 3PK and 4PK, so we are trying to get them to keep the 3PK and open a 3PK on the island, possibly at one of the vacant storefronts. And it has been a back and forth with DOE over the last few months. I believe a letter will be going out soon, so it has been a struggle. It's an act word, and we are going to follow up on this. Do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, what happened with St. Mary's, right?
Yeah, so St. Mary's... Yeah. I'm sorry, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm just saying, my daughter went to the St. Mary's program. We don't know, it was never really clear if there was another church organization with a school that was running that program and they pulled out of it. We don't know if that was because they chose it or because the property didn't want them there anymore or whatever, but that program closed probably 7 or 8 years ago. So we've been without the 3PK for quite a while. We were out without the UPK. Unfortunately, we have it now. John, do you know if we have enough spots for all the kids on City Island in the UPK?
They are saying that now. They are saying that there are enough spots for the City Islanders for the 4PK, which I'm glad you actually said that, Kim, because it raises the question. Also, Kim Woodruff is also on our board. I'm sorry, Kim, when I was going around the room, I may have not mentioned you, and that was my bad. But when it comes to the 4PK, when it comes to the 4PK, they are saying that they're going to continue the program, obviously, next year. But if you have enough 4-year-olds, chances are you probably have enough 3-year-olds. So we are fighting on this. We're going to continue to fight on this. It is not over, so we will keep going. When we put out, as everyone knows, you all get the e-blast here and the text blast. If you don't, come see me afterwards. We have a sign-in sheet. The most common thing I get back usually are road conditions, lighting conditions, or telephone poles, which is another thing we're working on. So the road conditions have been going on for years. This isn't a surprise to anybody. They've done patch resurfacings of the circle in past years, and they also did a patch resurfacing over by Turtle Cove, right at the entryway of the circle. That was a result of our site visit last year. So we are pushing on them to do more. A particular islander, I won't reveal the name, but shared a very, it was a personal story how basically the roadway conditions are so bad it's costed her $1,200 this winter on her car. So we sent that to the elected officials and the government agencies that be. So we are really pushing to get them to take this a little bit more seriously. And we will have some more stuff going on with that soon.
John?
Yes, sir.
What about the sidewalks? They're all strip hazards.
In the park?
Well, no, I mean, I'm just looking at saying.
So, yes. Mario, you're absolutely right. There are a lot of trip hazards on the avenue. For a while, they were doing sidewalk reconstructions. The issue is basically with a lot of the sidewalks is it does fall on the property owner to maintain the sidewalks outside their property. So, unfortunately, sometimes they bring it to the attention. Sometimes, property owner might not have the money to fix it right away. But if there are a few conditions, maybe we can, and if people want to identify those conditions, we could maybe do a light touch, and we can just ask the property owner what their plan is for that. But that's a good one.
John,
Yes, Mary.
if you have a sidewalk issue, as I do, the tree roots
Yep,
lifting up my sidewalk, I'm not allowed to touch the tree roots.
that's correct.
So I've called this 311
Mhm.
3 times.
And they give you a rating, right?
Yeah, and then I went to Community Board 10,
Mhm.
and they wrote a letter in my behalf. That was
Mhm.
about a year ago. And my sidewalk is getting higher. It's I guess you gotta
No.
wait till somebody breaks their neck.
Yeah.
I sprayed it with
Yeah.
yellow paint so that maybe it's a little more visible. But if you
No,
have
with
tree
the tree
roots,
roots,
they will
it's
not-
different.
they will
Tree
not
roots
be
is different.
touched.
There is a tree and sidewalk program. It's not always well funded by the city, and that's why you're encountering delays there.
Yeah.
And you, as Maria said, you can't remove the tree, and they are very
Roots,
stringent
yeah.
on
Sidewalks
trees.
go like that.
Yeah.
My sidewalk, they said was 75%
Yeah.
at an angle, and they still can't fix it yet. They have to wait till it gets.
What about a roller coaster? I mean, what about
Yeah,
like?
so what we will do, what I'm going to suggest we do, I appreciate that, and I appreciate it, Mario, you bringing it up originally. Let's try to identify maybe on the avenue some of the worst spots. That's fine. We love the four-legged ones here. Let's identify maybe the top 5 or 10, and we can just reach out and just see what we can do collectively. We don't want anyone to get fined, but maybe there's some sort of program or something we can do. We can ask our elected officials maybe to help with that. So again, we're looking to do the carrot as opposed to the stick approach. People are going through some tough economic times, so we're not looking to add to that. Beyond those things, I wanted to open the floor for some community issues, and Cheryl, go right ahead.
Okay, I just have one thing to add. I think if you ask around, you're gonna find there are lots of people that we paid almost that much to have our car repaired last year. And now it's gotta be done again,
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
all because of the road conditions. And I've never complained about it because we're in New York. But they're worse than they've ever been.
I totally agree with you, and I would just ask you all and remind you, it is at the city level. It's an election year this year. Without telling you who to vote for, just gotta be careful. It's non-profit, and we are on camera. If these issues are important to you, when people come knocking on your doors, just express that this is something you want to see addressed, and express that it's a high priority. There was a particular candidate, of which I will not name, and is not someone from New York City who we've ever voted for, but ran on the whole slogan of fix the damn roads. So maybe maybe it makes sense for other people to adopt that kind of a slogan.
John, I do have a question, sorry.
Go ahead, Jim.
But the streets, I don't understand what happened here when they closed down all the streets,
Mm-hmm.
this part forward,
Yeah.
for almost a week.
Mhm.
And they were trying to fix them, and they were fixing them all at the same time.
Yeah.
And then they're just awful.
The roadway resurfacings we're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's lumpy and bumpy, and it was a terrible job that they did.
Look, if we can identify a few roads, and I'm happy to speak to you after the fact, let's try to get a few of the roads that maybe need to be remilled. Another gentleman actually emailed me a long particular thing on this, so I appreciate what you're saying. My belief is that we need to focus on a few problem spots and try to get those addressed. And hopefully, once we see some improvement, things will get a little bit better. And your companion there reminds me that I forgot to put on the agenda. We do have an update on the dog run and the efforts with the dog run. So we have been trying to find a place for the dog run. This is not just us, these are other community groups, these are other citizens that are leading this effort. So one suggestion that was proposed, because there is a little bit of a, people don't want it in their backyard or on their block, either for noise or, concerns with dog droppings or what have you. But we were thinking maybe on the dead end of Bound Street, which was supposed to originally 20 years ago be open for public access. So we were speaking to city planning, and this is an email from March 3rd. This is Department of City Planning spokesperson. We reached out to our partners at Parks to understand why the space wasn't built out as it was supposed to be. They let us know they were unable to find a record for the substantial completion for the site. As the next step, I recommend reaching out to the Bronx Department of Buildings. Buildings enforces the zoning codes here to understand why any decisions or whether any decision was made on the property. Also, as an FYI, the zoning resolution states dog runs are not allowed within 20 feet of a shoreline. So we're going to find out what was made the first time, and then find out, is there any flexibility, or does perhaps the zoning resolution need to be changed? These types of park projects take 5 years or more, so it might be a smaller bump on the road than we anticipate, trying to maybe get it changed. Again, this is a zoning resolution at City Island that only applies to City Island, so it might be relatively easy to try to get a home rule message with the council member or some of the other council colleagues to try to get that done, especially if other elected officials are supporting this effort, and how enforcement will be. And we happen to know we have strong interest from our state senator, our assembly member, and our city council member have all said, if we can find a site for a dog run and it's feasible, they're interested in funding this project. So, to be continued, again, this update's from about 2 weeks ago. Beyond that,
John, can you describe a little bit where the dog run would be on Bound Street?
Sure.
Not as far as the condos, I guess.
no, the other side of the street.
But I was on the
Oh,
street.
Bound Street on the
Bound Street,
the west
next,
side?
yes, next to the light that is both loved and hated by different islanders. The Seafood City side.
This one.
Yes, this side. Yeah,
You mean Doyle's Phone?
that's right. That's right. The one that,
Where they are.
the one that we was responsible for. Me too.
That phone on me.
I know. Go ahead.
On another animal issue.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know, like, there seems to be a skunk family on Bay Street and Williams. I don't know if other people on the island have skunk infestations or other animal problems.
The skunk, so at this part in the season, it's after the
It's mating
winter.
season, yeah.
So they're also, they start earlier and they go to bed later because there's less food around. So you're just seeing them more. It's not that there are more. You follow?
Except it's mating season as well, so I assume they're making more little skunk babies.
It's
Yeah,
time
but
for
they're gonna
romance on
It's-
City
I don't
Island.
know,
and
I
more
mean,
ways
if there
than
are
one.
other animal issues, or is this just a silly problem that I should?
No, it's
No.
I'm not trying to be. I'm
I'm just saying
We have
they're.
some skunks in the White House too.
So, yes, we have to be careful here with that. moving past that, but on the topic of the skunks themselves,
Yeah.
there are different remedies you can take to, if something gets skunked, to, with either baking soda or tomato paste or peroxide to remove the smell, hydrogen peroxide. Exactly. As it relates to animal control, unless the skunk or raccoon, and I'm not discriminating against any sort of animal that we may find here, is believed to have rabies, the Department of Health doesn't tend to move in. And it's incumbent on the resident to either hire a certified trapper or deal with it themselves. So folks, we all have to put out the trash in one way or another. Make sure that the trash is covered. Make sure that
Your pets are on a leash.
your pets are on a leash. All those fun things.
Well,
Absolutely
if
right.
you see a skunk that's quite bold,
Yes.
that's probably a skunk that could have rabies. If
It
comes
could.
towards you, so that's where people should be reporting.
It could. No, that's absolutely true. And if people feel that, the issue is that, of course, that's an on the ground, on the site thing, and making that determination sometimes is difficult. Yes,
If
sir.
they're out in the daytime,
Yeah.
that might be a problem because they're nocturnal.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the raccoons,
Yeah,
Very true.
and possums.
Yeah, but
that's honestly, that's not true actually, that just because they've adapted, so they come out to feed.
Yeah.
So
Got it.
either
Right.
daytime or nighttime, they're out. It doesn't necessarily mean that they do have rabies. but,
No, no,
you
no.
know,
Or they had a late night.
They have it, right?
yeah.
They were out celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
awesome. Yeah, they're all
They're
in
on their
here.
way home, we get to walk of shame, you know, we've all been there.
Jesus Christ.
Moving on.
It's a lively time here in City Island March. Everybody's getting out from the winter here. Okay, so yes, skunks are a problem. Is there anyone else have a statement?
Red light
Yes.
cameras.
Yes.
Any progress?
So there's a second one over by the Episcopal Church that matches the one that's on the corner of Carroll Street. Those are the two that they're going to give us. It took a lot of badgering, a lot of emails, a lot of stuff to get that second one put up, and they put it up without any fanfare and didn't notify us. And then when we found out about it within a week or two, that they confirmed that they put it up and that the metrics had matched that. I think the next thing is the city's experimenting with sound cameras, for like people who don't have their mufflers, things along that nature. So we're going to put in a request for that because summer season's right around the corner, and we don't want Raceway 500, Daytona 500, City Island style happening here. But there is the long story to a short question. There is a second camera by the Episcopal Church, and it is in operation. So, sir.
John, couldn't they augment that with speed bumps?
So they tend. I'm glad you asked this question because we have this conversation as a community a lot of times. They tend not to put speed humps on bus routes because the weight of the buses tends to grind down the hump. However, they recently put a speed cushion, is that what they call it, over by PS14 in Pelham Bay. So we took a photo of it. We went out there one day. We got ourselves some Louie and Ernie's. We took a photo of it. We sent it to DOT and said if it made sense for PS14, what about PS175? Full disclosure, that was before the second light went up. So that might not be our strongest argument anymore because PS175 is pretty well protected now. But I do agree with you. Maybe somewhere else on the island, if you could put this cushion, which is a broken up speed hump, so that the buses can pass, maybe that would make sense.
The phenomenon is that they're doing 90 miles an hour to hit a water body. I never understand that.
I agree, and it used to be they just sped the way down, but now they speed when they're leaving, and after a good meal, most of us get pretty tired and are a little bit more relaxed. But apparently some folks are in a need for speed to go somewhere.
It happens at 7 in the morning too.
Yes. And I do have to say sometimes it is some of the islanders who are part of this as well. Some people have a need for speed. Yes. Anyone else with a quality of life concern, community concern?
Yeah, I was just curious about the telephone poles.
Yes. So there was a telephone pole on Fordham that we had Con Ed come out there and fix. Recently, someone else reached out to us via email with a second pole location. Do you remember what it was off the top of your head?
Fordham Place And it's literally
It's the same place.
same
They
area.
block
Yes.
my driveway every day that they're working
Yeah.
on it.
Okay. So, if you have one, you let me know, but if anyone, just keep an eye out. Everyone here is the eyes and ears of the community, so to speak. If you notice your pole's dramatically off-center, let us know. We'll put in a Con Ed complaint. We'll try to get it addressed like we did the other one. And it's funny because the second person,
They haven't addressed it yet, by the way.
Yeah.
They need to come back out and fix it, because they had a truck
Yeah.
with a pole and the
Uh-huh.
whole thing, but they never did anything.
okay,
Left.
all right.
We need to readdress that.
So we will, yes, we will. So we've got 2 poles on Fordham that need to be addressed. If there are other poles, again, they've got to be dramatically leaning, like Tower of Pisa style, to get these guys out here. I'm going to be very honest.
Those two
Yeah, they are.
St. Patrick's Day is past, so I can start talking about the Italian stuff. But we need, like, it really needs to be leaning, otherwise they don't want to touch this. So we've really got it. But again, everybody is, as we often say, as I often say, this is the evidence collector. Take the photos. You can email it right to us at City on Rising. We have no problem putting in those complaints for you, but we need the evidence to be able to go out there, and that helps build our case. Because if we just put in text, there's a phone pole and so-and-so's upset by it, that doesn't get the same movement as, wow, look at this photo, and it looks like it's going to fall down.
3 children standing right under it.
Yeah?
And that's for the same for flooding too, because after the paving,
Mhm.
the people have complained that there is now more flooding than it was, more pooling up and stuff like that. So if
Yes.
you see the pools on your street, take the pictures and send it to us, so we know.
Yes.
John,
Yes.
the garbage pails, the new garbage pails.
Mm-hmm.
Someone told me that, and I already
Yeah.
ordered mine and paid for them.
Mhm.
I think they were $45 each.
Yep.
Somebody just said to me, if you are on the STAR program as a homeowner, you get the pails for free.
It's not for free. They're going to rebate that cost for you. Call the council member's office. There's a program that was worked out as part of the budget.
Oh,
But yes, if you paid for those enclosed trash pails, yeah, call Councilmember Marmorato's office. There was some sort of rebate worked out at the council level, and you can get a rebate, but should automatically apply, you're right, if you are on STAR,
the STAR program.
in the STAR program. That's
So
on.
do you get a full rebate or just partial, do you know?
I think it's full.
I think it's full.
It was
I
a
agree.
full rebate, and it
Yes.
was for anybody who had already purchased them, that you would get the rebate, but, it's not happening yet, so I don't think
It's supposed to, no, it's.
don't call yet, because I
Yeah.
don't think it would really
Don't
have any
apply
impact.
it.
I think
Yeah.
they said that they were gonna post some kind of form, so if you like follow the councilwoman's page or
Yeah.
like one of the pages, I think she plans on posting it once it's ready to go.
Yeah.
And then you can do the rebate, and at the same time, they're also gonna do it where people can start ordering them for free.
That's everything Kim just said. People have been reaching out. I don't think they have all the details yet. So in a few months, as it becomes available, we'll augment that information
Yeah.
as it comes out.
It's already been decided, so it's
Mhm.
just a matter of them coming
Implementation.
up with the implementation. So I would just wait. I wouldn't waste a phone call on it at this
Yeah.
point. I would
That's
just
good to
wait
know.
until they post it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I don't know if this is appropriate. It's not a concern, it's a curiosity. The eyesore across from the restaurant, next to Old Addis Harbor. A long time, and now I see activity. Was the house sold, or is a new owner, or?
Which house is this?
It's the house when you.
It's a really big, it's an old house just before you leave the island, on the right side, across.
Right after the lawyer.
Yeah, on the right side.
The sunken.
Okay.
Next to the church.
Next to the church,
Oh,
by the
yeah.
bus stop.
Near Ron Rodriguez's house. That's not.
Oh, I saw activity there the other day.
Yeah, I'm wondering, did the bank sell it? Did the-
It's possible. Which house is it again?
I don't know the address, but I see it
It's
every
to
day.
the
White House.
To the left of the church. If you're standing in the
Oh,
street.
my reserve.
Yes. I remember this, and I remember. So I've been looking at this a while back.
I
The
rented that
bank.
house years ago.
Oh, maybe we need you to use your skills again.
I don't even know who owns it now.
But I remember the mortgage was not held by a traditional bank, because usually if it's a traditional bank, JP Morgan, Chase, Citibank, what have you, you reach out to their maintenance departments, they'll come and secure the property and at least make it look better. But I remember that the mortgage held on that either had been paid off or was held by some like LLC type of situation where it wasn't as easy as a simple phone call. But I'll look into it and I'll give a report back at the next meeting. No, it's in a very, very, very visible location. And maybe a short sale. Maybe some islander can buy it and extend their real estate empire.
I think it's being fixed up, the house
Yeah.
itself got
Okay.
shut up, and now they've added dirt.
Yeah.
There was-
We could have the next home flippers here. I mean, like, that's the way you gotta look at
I
it.
saw 2 trucks delivering. I'm curious.
Yes.
Is there a law in the city
Uh-huh.
that determines how long a scaffold can stay up?
No, and that's been a big problem, is that for years, if you go down to Manhattan, the scaffolds are all over the place. And there's been a concerted effort by the real estate lobby, it's been widely reported on, because every year they want to pass something that you can't keep renewing your scaffolding for 120 days in perpetuity and just keep these scaffolds up when no real work is going on. And the owners are fighting back on that, and they have insurance costs, or insurance concerns rather, that lead into that, because they don't want like a brick falling down and then being sued for their livelihood. And the one, I know exactly what you're talking about, the one over here, across from the school.
It's the only one.
Yep. Well, at one point there were 2. Now there's only 1. And they took it down because people were going, and that person had not been renewing their permits for years. That permit had not been renewed for, I want to say, 3 or 4 years. And DOB got on them. They had to pay like $25,000 in fines, believe it or not. Like the fines are not cheap for that, and it escalates. They send someone back out like every 60 days, and it's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. And finally, I guess to get their permit, they couldn't renew a permit that had elapsed for that long a period of time. So what they did was they tore down the scaffolding, and everyone celebrated. And then the next week, they put it back up. And it was funny because we had discussed this as a board, and I had said, because we had been involved in some of this, and I said, let's hold off any sort of celebration here because we don't know with this owner or what's going to happen. And then sure enough, next week, scaffolding went back up.
Just a little shade on that,
Go ahead.
Fordham, right next to Cottam.
Yeah.
There's a building that was like half built, and then they stopped. It was supposed to be like garages underneath, and
Yeah.
offices upstairs. What's going on with that?
I will
Does
ask
anyone
them.
know?
Not offhand. I know.
It's been sitting for like what?
Yeah.
Close to like 2 years now, and it has the scaffolding up. as
Oh yeah,
well.
totally. No, I drive by it all the when I
Yeah.
go down the sound,
Yeah.
around on the sound. I drive by it all the time. Let me look at the permits. I'll let you know. I don't know immediately offhand, but that doesn't mean we can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And then we can converse on the side. And unfortunately, if they put their permits on hold for whatever the reason, financing dries up or what have you, they can do that. But we could check and see what the scaffolding on the permits is.
Okay. Thank you.
No, that's a concern, definitely. Cheryl?
I think I brought this up once before, but the
Mhm.
London plane freeze, the huge ones in Hawkins Park,
Yeah.
I called one year
Mm-hmm.
and they came right up for the kudzu stuff that's going halfway up the trees. And
Mm-hmm.
it was only on 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And it came out, they took it all down immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I called again last year,
Mm-hmm.
and they said they had somebody come out and look at it and everything was fine. Well, it was worse. So one year they told me
Mm-hmm.
it was a huge problem. The next year it was worse. No, not there have been years in between, like
Yeah.
3 years. They say that it's not a problem.
Let's get it. Let's meet. Let's get some photos together, and we'll ask Parks to reassess.
Because somebody doesn't know what it is.
No.
Including me.
I get it. We can reach out to the Parks Department and try to get a second opinion on that. Liam?
Yeah, John, the last 3 years I've been putting in like complaints with the city about the sidewalk.
Oh, yes.
Sidewalk there on Early Street.
Mm-hmm.
And, just the parents come, they look at it, they don't see it prioritized enough to address it. So we get like 3 or 4 inches of a step,
No, yours is really bad. I put in a few emails on it myself, and as a matter of fact, last year when the tree came down, I pointed out that right next to where the tree came down on Early Street was this big complaint. So it made sense to me to try to get them to repair the sidewalk. So I will. Let's follow up on that.
They just pushed the thing back down.
Yes.
Like it came up like this.
Oh yeah, no, that was a wild. wild situation. But no, I actually told them, I said, I told someone at the mayor's office, as a matter of fact, they said, given what just happened on this block, where the tree was falling, and we had to call every emergency response, and no one came to really do anything about it, the tree fell. And the least you could do is probably repair the sidewalk, but I'll follow up to where we left off on it. Anyone else? Kim?
I have a two-part question.
Yes.
Or a two-part comment. And one of them is the Catherine Scott Promenade
Mm-hmm.
has had like ongoing maintenance lags, I guess, in terms of being mowed. And regularly, if you drive past it, the grass is like this tall.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what I wonder is like, what is the city's scheduling of maintenance? Because I feel like a lot of the things that we discuss are things that really should just be taken care of. And I don't understand why we have to tell the city to mow the lawn on their park, or why we have to tell the city that Pelham Bay Park roads are in poor condition. Because I've lived here now for 12 years, and they have never been paved. And I know the strategic way to drive down the road toward Orchard Beach so that I don't hit, you don't want to drive on the right side because that's the bad side, you drive on the left side, or just in the middle is also good if there's no cars around. But I'm just like, what can we expect from the city about how they decide when roads are paved or when parks are mowed, or like, why is it so difficult?
So, fair point. So, there are two different answers to that. On the parks related matter, the Parks Department is always one of the first agencies to get cut. There's been an ongoing effort by advocacy groups like New Yorkers for Parks. What they've been trying to do is get the city to commit to 1% of the budget to be parks and parks maintenance because of this very issue. And a lot of parks, you go by, I don't know if everyone remembers, when you get onto the highway right by Pelham Parkway, at one point it was like a mini jungle over there because they hadn't mowed these medians for like years. So this is a very consistent problem, and it's done because of budget cuts. They don't have the same amount of people to go out there, and unfortunately, the people who complain, like us, if we complain enough, we usually do get some level of service, but it does take a while. And really, it's one of those cuts that maybe isn't seen as much as other cuts, but if we don't fund the Parks Department and the maintenance staff, this is what happens. You go from, regular cleanings, regular service to intermittent cleanings. And I know during COVID, when the budget was cut, we really had a bad problem where, as you remember that point, Catherine Scott Promenade wasn't getting cleaned at all. And there needs to be, I agree with you, there needs to be more enforcement of this, and we have always been, with New Yorkers for Parks, we're listed as one of their partners, because we do support a 1% of the budget going for parks, because this affects Pelham Bay Park, which is everybody's front yard here for this community, and it affects a lot of other things. As it relates to the roadways, the issue we have consistently been having, and why we've been working through the deputy mayor's office as opposed to just the agencies themselves, is because you get, with the roadways and the parks, you get jurisdictional hot potato. DOT says, well, they're not city roadways. Technically, it's in a park, so it's Parks Department's problem. Parks Department says, we don't pave roads. The DOT does all these other things. Why don't they service the roads? And we go through the deputy mayor's office to try to get, better responses on these things. Again, I'm not saying it's been an adequate response. They have done, Lake Orchard was repaired. We did they did resurface a portion over by the first traffic circle. They did the traffic circle about a year ago. They did a portion of Orchard Beach Road before that. I do agree with you, they should try to do everything at one time. And you see this play out because Shore Road, they did Shore Road as a study. Study comes back to fix that one road, $55 million.
Because they're explaining it.
Yeah, because it goes through swampland, there's remediation issues. Yeah, there's a lot of problems.
But is there a spreadsheet, or is there something that the city has that says, like, we are going to pave the roads every X, or we are going to mow the lawn? Like, how do they know when to cut them? Like
Yeah.
somebody has to come and mow the lawn, so how does
How do
the
they determine
person
this
with
thing?
the lawnmower
Yeah.
end up at the park on a specific day, and how does that happen? Because it does happen once in a while, it just doesn't happen often enough, so how?
They probably have it cut on a every other month seasonal basis. We can see what the schedule is. I guarantee it's an inadequate schedule, and we ask why it's not being done more, they're gonna complain about budget cuts. But we will ask.
Okay, so if we
Yeah.
want to solve, because that park is beautiful when they redid it, it's so beautiful,
Yeah.
and I see a lot of visitors there, people on their bikes, it's really lovely. I don't know why I'm like obsessed with it, but like,
That's fine.
is there something we could do?
I mean, we
As
could
a
have a
community.
volunteer effort to try to, I mean, we do have, through our partnership with like Home Depot and stuff, we do have a bunch of those weed whackers. So we can go out there for a day and cut it, but I would like to see Parks do it first and then try to do maintenance
I mean, we
thereafter.
also have area guys who do, the grass cutting around the neighborhood, stuff like that. We can ask for,
Yeah.
John,
have it-
also, when you have the tall grass, it
Yeah.
attracts a lot of ticks.
No, that's true too.
So, you don't want to walk in Catherine's
Yeah.
park when the grass is high, because the ticks, when you go through,
Yeah.
they stick to you.
Right.
All right, so let's.
It's one of our only public green spaces on the island,
agree.
so I would like to see it.
Nice, yeah.
We will prioritize it.
Better, pristine position.
That's fair.
Let's reach out to like some landscapers also.
Yeah.
Area,
They got one next door to me.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do. I'm not dismissing this concern. Also, I'm just giving what the bureaucrats are saying. It doesn't mean that I don't think there's a better way to spend money. I'm just providing the expertise as I know it to be. We'll talk offline, but definitely let's try to find a way to get this done and make it a little bit better here. And I'm trying to see if we have another seat for someone over here.
There's one back there.
Yeah, we do have a seat back here, miss, if that's easier for you guys.
I'm gonna give him a.
Okay, great. Nope, that's fine too. So, yes, we'll deal with that. Does anyone else have anything in terms of quality of life, other issues that they'd like to see discussed before we proceed with the agenda here? Okay, we did have a last minute addition, which is my fault because I forgot to put it on the agenda, so you can blame me. Nicole Blackman would like to give a little bit of an update on her free store that she operates on the Avenue, so let's all give her a round of applause and let's give her a few minutes to give her pitch here.
Hi there. You may have seen my free store project on the sidewalks near the Fordham bus station, between like the Fordham bus station and the library. The reason why it's outdoors is because I don't have an indoor space that I can use as a free store. Now, the free store idea came up, it's been around since the 70s or something. It's been around since the 70s. And with the rise of mutual aid, we have a free fridge, we've got a community pantry, we do clothing drives. This is just a natural extension of that. The reason why it's so important is because we have no stores. We have almost nowhere we can find anything. And when you think about that, if it's happening to you, it's happening to everybody else. And especially parents or people who are on medical conditions and things. We don't even have a drugstore. So with all the empty storefronts, I was walking up and down the street, this was 8 years ago, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could get one of those empty storefronts just to lend us the joint for a couple months? If someone else comes in and they want to rent it, boom, great, absolutely. But to have a location where people can consistently and easily drop off extra stuff rather than you can only drop it off at the church on Tuesdays between 11:45 and 1:15. It would make a lot of things a lot easier. So what I did was I started with someone who was cleaning out a house, and I said, I can't see it going to a dumpster, give it to me. We got rid of absolutely everything. So far, after I've done about 6 free stores, I can clearly say that I've kept 1.5 large dumpsters of clothing, shoes, and household materials from going into the landfill. If one person could do that, imagine what we could do together. So basically, the free store is made up of donations from people on the island and some people who are friends of mine who just donate stuff to me. Kids are outgrowing clothes. You're not going to wear the dress anymore. Something doesn't fit anymore. You aren't into moves anymore. So many things that are donated that are brand new, still with tags on them. Because during COVID, loads of people were ordering stuff and just never returned it. So I can't tell you how much stuff. I mean, Timberland boots in the box with tags. I'm craziness. We've gotten prom dresses, bikinis, a wetsuit, school uniforms, many band concert t-shirts. Someone gave us a straitjacket. I think it was a Halloween. I'm not really sure. And the whole idea with the free store is that anyone on City Island is welcome to come. Everybody needs something. Right now, it's like, I've got to find a soldering iron. And I was thinking, I realized with all the people on City Island, there are probably 12 or 13 people who have a soldering iron who wouldn't mind either lending it to me or just giving it to me. They don't save us. We save us. The idea of mutual aid is that it benefits everyone. Whether you need something or you want to contribute something. Listen, folks, I mean, it's spring. And what do we do in spring? We clean house. Everyone here. If you have a car, you have a giant black garbage bag in your truck that you've been driving around for like 4 years. Imagine how much better your gas mileage would be if you just got rid of that thing. Anyone who has kids or family has a box or a bag in the closet for like donations, stuff that doesn't fit. This was itchy. Grandma bought it. I don't, whatever. Wouldn't it be great to have that space back in your closet? This is how it works. So you've got stuff, and there are people in the island who need stuff. Whether they're families, or whether they're some of the residents or the pots. It could be you. You need a compression socks, and there's a brand new package. I mean, everyone in this room could use something. Whether, I mean, you're looking for a can outfit. I know Can is very into dressing up. Cheryl might need a new vest or something, or perhaps a tutu. I can't explain to you how great it is to have all those things on the rack, separated men, women, and I've got a lower rack where I put all the kids' stuff so the kids can come and pick out their stuff themselves. When I have 2 rolling racks, I put a little play area in the center so that kids can hang out while their parents are shopping. Anyone can take anything. And if they want a tip, they can. We always have a tip tournament. But so far, we've had, oh gosh, let me put this down. On the mailing list, we have like 200 people so far have said, this is cool, we should do more of this. People off island as well. I mean, just, yeah.
There was a store, there was a free store.
I did it, I had to do it, I had to do it outside. I put the rolling racks outside on the sidewalk.
Yeah, but where?
By the Fordham bus station, between the Fordham bus station and the library. On the sidewalk. I had to do it, I had to get permission from a friend, the retail person. But we could be doing so much more, and it could be so much better if there was a location where we could accept donations like during the week, and then it's open on the weekends for City Island residents, for families, to come and pick out whatever. I do want to make this clear that this is for, by, and about City Island residents. Other people off island are like, oh, I've always wanted to get rid of this bag and stuff. Well, fine. But, like, over at the fridge, when I saw this SUV full of NYU guys sort of cleaning out the free fridge, we don't want that happening here. So what I'm trying to do right now is to speak to a couple of the real estate agents, or if you know someone who's got an empty storefront, I promise you I will get them fantastic publicity. I promise you I will get them on WABC News. The free store was already featured on WNYC, on NPR. So the enthusiasm has been great. I mean, we've got donors here, we've got folks who've like benefited from it. Stella found a great like white leather jacket that was ripped up the back, and so she like did ribbons and bows, and she came back, she goes, what do you think? I mean, that's mutual aid.
You take big furniture like couches?
I can't.
No.
Because right now, it's just going in like half a garage.
Okay, I've got 5 bags for you in my car.
Yeah,
Big
and, yeah, and he gave me like 6 bags last week, and they're amazing, really amazing. But I do this all on my own, and I can't keep packing stuff into my neighbor's parking space. I got 2 more industrial rolling racks. If I had an indoor location anywhere, even if it was just a large walk-in closet, just to be able to receive things, to sort them, and to store it. I would love for it to be indoors so people can come in. I would love for it to be like, there's a little spot with, kids can work on crafts, and some of the people can have workshops in after. there's so many empty locations on City Island. There has to be a better use for it. So if you have an empty space, or you know someone who does, and you think this is a cool idea,
Well, there's an empty space right across the street.
sure. Well, when I've called a number of real estate agents, they will listen to the pitch, and I say, listen, if someone wants this space, I'm out of it, not a problem. I'll move somewhere else. Every time I've called, every real estate agent said, oh, we're in contract. They're all in contract. So something's got to give. So when you guys are thinking, oh, I should get rid of this, or, you know, I've lost a lot of weight, I could really use another pair of, this is how it works. You clear stuff out, you pick up what you need, you trade in your kids' clothes and get the next size up. For all the baby clothes, and we sort from 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12. And when families come up and say their kid is like 6 months, I say, take that in, just take all of it, and wear it, enjoy it. And when she outgrows it, just bring it back. And they're like, you know, like a lending library for baby and kids' clothes? I'm like, yeah.
No, that was someone texting me.
Okay, there was a bell. It's like ding.
Yeah, no.
So if you would like to know more about it, or you have some suggestions, or you have stuff you want to get rid of, and mostly if you have any ideas for a location where we can accept donations, and also, by the way, New York State requires students to have 100 hours. They require New York State requires high school students to have 100 hours of community service under the belt before they can graduate. Why can't they volunteer and do a community service here? Why can't we do like a street program with the Boy Scouts, or so the school kids have to do community service? And basically, I mean, City Island's like a long fish, and we pick different streets every Saturday or Sunday. And, you know, flyers go up, and it's like, okay, it's Pilot Street. Okay, it's Winter Street, whatever. And for older residents who have too much stuff and can't get rid of it, well, now we've got some fresh blood. It's like, hi, we can help get that stuff fresh. Yeah.
So, Nicole, if someone wants to join up with you in this effort or be supportive, how do they get in touch with you?
Come say hi.
Where would they do that?
Well, if they knock on my door at home, it's going to get a little weird.
Yes.
I'd be happy to give
email, maybe?
Sure.
You can share your email.
Sure. My email address is Miss Blackman. My last name is Blackman, Blackman. It's just MISS Blackman, no dots, no spaces, @gmail.com. I'm going to get another email address just for the free store.
Right.
But there's no reason why we can't do this, and everyone benefits. So if you have any questions or any ideas, come and find me. I love sharing.
Thank you, Nicole. Let's all give her a round of applause. Thank her for what she's doing. The little free store implies what she said. She's not getting paid to do any of this. She's just trying to make things better for folks. And next up, we have Marilyn from Senator Fernandez's office. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hi, everyone. A lot of new faces. I haven't been here since January. So my name is Marilyn. I'm Senator Nathalia Fernandez's district director. I'm new-ish. I'm coming on 6 months. I don't know if I can say that anymore. But I just wanted to come today, give you some of our updates, and just share some upcoming events and resources for you all. As far as events, we have an upcoming community iftar. I have a bunch of flyers here. It's going to be on March 21st, this Friday at PS 106 on Starling Avenue. We have a really, really big Bengali and Muslim community in our district, and we look forward to celebrating, so we invite you all to also join us. And then as far as resources, there is an opportunity by the Department of Labor to be a teacher ambassador. That is a paid opportunity for teachers, librarians, and counselors to be part of a 4-week summer training program. The applications are still open. If anyone knows any teachers or if they are any educators that might be interested, please see me. I have a bunch of flyers. And then there's also high school offers information sessions that are still happening through tomorrow. So that's pretty much it as far as resources. I thought I had one more. Oh, yes. Summer Rising, which is just a free summer program in adventure learning for New York City students. I have more of these. I'm also happy to share it through email. And then as far as legislative updates, we have already received the Senate budget draft was released, and the budget draft was basically just the Senate's version of what we want the budget to look like this year. We will keep fighting to fund programs that help our communities as we work towards the final budget. That is the information given to me, but part of my job is also coordinating events, and April's very big for community and cleanups and park cleanups, and you pointed out the issue with the park cleanup. If there are any ideas or any park cleanups to coordinate through our office, please contact me. I'm so happy to organize something. I want to be engaged in this community. I want to learn more about the community. I'm from the Bronx, but I'm from Castle Hill. So I'm really excited to learn more about City Island. I mean, I came here growing up in the summer like everybody else. But yeah, please engage with me. I have a lot of business cards here with me today. So please talk to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Let's give her a round of applause. And Marilyn, if someone wants to reach out to, someone wants to get in touch with you, maybe who's watching online, what's your email address?
My email is my last name. That's CEILEMA@nysenate.gov. It's really long and confusing, so I have my business cards here too.
And we will put it in the notes for this video, both on Facebook and on the YouTube when it goes on YouTube, so people will easily get in touch with you. And let's talk afterwards. Let's do some sort of a cleanup at the park this spring. That's a wonderful idea. So I appreciate you bringing that to our attention, and thank the Senator for her efforts on everything. Before we break, we just want to do some things under old business here. The ferry effort, we do have the signs available. Does everyone have a Yes City Island Ferry sign?
No.
Who wants one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to run in my car after this. So don't think I'm making a getaway when we get off here. And I'm going to get you all a bunch of signs. If you want a sign for a neighbor or friend, we have over 1,000 signs. We've been putting them up. And just so folks know, yes, it's a statement of support because we're trying to get the word out there that there are people in the neighborhood who want to see this. But remember that QR code is on there. And the very nice thing about that is it's in a few very well-trafficked businesses. So every day, there's been a trickle of people emailing the elected officials saying yes to the ferry. So it serves a purpose beyond just a show of support. So people can go right on there, they can use the QR code, and they can help to make a difference. So please, 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 if you know of anybody who you think would want one, I'm happy to give you 2. We just want to get it out there because it is making a difference. And we do have some more meetings set up with another elected official, possibly 2 elected officials. So we are continuing our lobbying effort as well. So I just want you to know things are happening. We're also going to be doing, this is a semi-announcement, so we're going to be tiring my iPad as the formal recorder of these meetings. We purchased some actual nice equipment, which will have a microphone, because I know, Andrea, sometimes you watch from home on that, but you're not the only one. And you can't hear what's going on all the time, even though we try to use the microphone and we try to make it better. So we're going to have 2 microphones that go clip-ons that might make it easier for people to hear. So we're making a very conscious effort to make it more accessible to people who can't make it to every meeting. Because when we do tabling, one of the most frequent things we hear from folks is not only are they aware of us, but they've caught either a whole meeting or a portion of a meeting, or they like this topic or they like that topic. So people are watching online. We do get hundreds of views of these videos. Particularly on Facebook. So what we're trying to do is make it more accessible. But the nice thing about that equipment is also we're going to be using it to do video testimonials. So what is that? We're going to have some of the business owners speak to why they want the ferry. We're going to have some of the people who have to travel downtown speak about how it would transform their lives. And we have a few people who used to live on City Island who moved away because the commute was so bad. And they're going to say, they wouldn't have moved. Maybe they wouldn't have moved if they had access to this. So we're trying to tell this story from everyone's perspective. So if you are interested in something like that, if you have a good idea, a good story pitch, let us know, because we're going to start really in earnest in the next few months to get these videos out there. Remember last year we did Facebook ads? This year we're going to do videos. And we're going to hope that people telling their own authentic stories is going to move more people to our side on this. So,
Question.
yes, sir.
Where does the ferry go? I'm sorry, that's my first meeting.
No, it's fine.
Where does the ferry go?
So we leave that open to EDC to determine the best possible place. What we're hearing from people in the community is that if we restored Belden Point, which is all the way at the end of the island, where the old pier used to be. You can see the remnants there. It would, one, it's an accessible point, and number two, it would be building back something that was really a wonderful thing back in the day, and people could get off right there and they could walk the whole island. But it's up to EDC if we get that far, and this would be a good problem to have to determine what the best place is. There are other places which people have communicated might be good as well. We're not gonna take a position on the exact location. We just want to see something on City Island. One, to reduce car traffic to the island. Two, to help revitalize the main street. Foot traffic will help fill some of these stores. I think Nicole very well articulated how many of them are vacant. And three, for our neighbors and friends who have to travel downtown on a semi-consistent basis, this would cut their commute time in half. So there's a lot of good reasons to do this, and we need to be ambassadors of getting that message out, because sometimes the loudest voices aren't the right ones, and we have to do a better job of telling our story, and that's why we're investing in these new types of technologies and the lawn signs and everything else to make sure folks are able to help us tell that story. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Thank you.
I have another one.
Yeah, go for it.
Where's the casino going to be?
Ferry Point, which is a portion of Throgs Neck. It's on the right side of the Whitestone if you're going over the Whitestone Bridge.
It's not a given yet.
It's not a given. We actually, we have, no. Hold on. Everybody, easy. So, I'm just giving the location of where it's being proposed. Actually, it's number 2 on this list.
But it's not here in the island.
No, they would not be putting a casino in. Although somebody did write a nasty comment when we had the Valley's people here, we'll put it on City Island, and I was like, that's not really helpful. Person who didn't live on City Island, it's worth pointing out, who made that comment. But, yeah. I will say the Bally's issue, Bally's is the site that's proposing the casino, it's still ongoing. There's going to be so I wrote something for the Island Current at the request of the editor, so you can read it. It's kind of a synopsis of what transpired at the meeting. Unfortunately, there was so much going on in terms of substance, they had to cut. And they gave, I have to say, they were generous. Usually those pieces aren't supposed to run more than 300 words. I think they gave me double that and still didn't pack everything in. Unfortunately, one of the things that got cut on the floor, which I think they're going to put into this next edition, is we did not take any sort of stance on the casino. They asked to come. We didn't want to be gatekeepers. We informed them, anyone who asked their question, as long as it was respectful, we weren't screening questions. We left it right open to the Islanders to ask the questions that they had concerns with. And as a result of that, because it wasn't said that we took a position, people were like, oh, you guys are all supporting. We didn't do anything. In fact, a lot of the questions were critical of the casino proprietors, but we allowed them to present. I will say, everyone remembers the TV they used to show the presentation? Afterwards, they were like, we don't want to take it home. What are we going to do with it? So we called Cheryl Reardon at the community center, and we just donated it to the community center. So the community center got a brand new plasma TV out of that deal. Whether or not it gets approved is irrelevant. I don't care about that. But if nothing else good happened, the community center got a brand new TV out of that deal. So we all participated in something good. But you should follow what's going on in Community Board 10. This is a multi-part process if they do get a casino. It's got to do a universal land use review procedure, which is the ULUR. That was the last public meeting, because the zoning needs to be changed. Number 2, there needs to be alienation of parkland. Now, to be honest, the parkland they're talking about is a parking lot and the little gazebo thing when you go down to Whitestone, but that'll play on as well. That's a state process. And then number 3, they need to come together with a comprehensive package. The elected officials all serve on a board, they have representatives, and then it goes to the governor's office. The governor's office of gambling or something like that then determines, do they get one of the 3 licenses for downstate. So this is a multi-part process, and there are different approvals they need. They're starting in earnest now. Again, one of the people involved in it lives on City Island. He asked to come to a meeting. He had been asking to come since October. Some of the board members met with him on the side in a Zoom, but we didn't want to be gatekeepers of information, so we put them before you, so you can ask any question you want. If you still have questions from that meeting, if you watched the meeting and you didn't feel your question was asked, email us at cityislandrising@gmail.com. We will take your question and we will send it to them. Go ahead.
I'm not going to bite the
believe you were asking for a job, and we're joking about a job, and
Represent the client.
absolutely.
They have, in order to apply, they have to put in, I believe this is the number, a $500,000 non-refundable fee.
It's over $1 million, actually.
Over $1 million.
It's over $1 million, yeah.
I don't know, I remember exactly the numbers. But
Yeah.
So I mean, they're pretty serious about this.
I mean, yeah, the person who's developing this is Bally's owns a lot of casinos, so they got a lot of, never bet against the house, as they say. So this guy's got a lot of money. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but just this is the process. They're going around. They've went to Morris Park. They're going to other community groups. They wanted to come here. We didn't feel as an organization that we should be depriving them of coming here. And again, I know Abby asked a question about traffic. Her daughter goes to school near there. Other people asked a question about what Throgs Neck thinks. And if you recall, one person said, well, there's another casino and it's very profitable. And one of our board members responded, that just means you've been successfully exploiting their gambling habits. And everyone in the room laughed. But it was a fair question, and nobody, smacked that person down and yelled at them or hissed in the back or said anything. We just allowed the meeting to continue. And we allowed the questions to be asked and answered.
Yeah, just so you know, there are other places that are vying for the
That's
same
right.
license
Yes.
also.
Yes.
So
basically, there's a bunch of proposals, and there can be up to 3 casinos in the metropolitan area.
but 2
Queens,
probably
Valley.
already are set, right? Which was
Yonkers.
which is Yonkers, Empire, and
Aqueduct.
But there's literally just one left.
And there are 8 applicants.
And there are like 8 applicants that are vying for this, right?
Yeah.
One of them happens to be Stevie Cohen, owner of the Mets in Queens, right? So there's a lot of big money, going after this stuff. So it's not a done deal.
That's right. It's council, it's the city council, it's the state legislature, and then the borough president and someone else, I think it's the governor as well, gets a seat on the individual boards of these things. So this is a very long process, as Mr. Schlein said when he presented here. Shovels aren't even going to break the ground on this thing for years, even if it did get approved. So we are very early on in this process. We brought it just because we thought you guys should know what's going on. But yeah, so no casino on the island, long process to be continued. And the meeting is on our YouTube and Facebook.
What about one on a boat, like in the Ozark?
Not a bad idea, maybe Bally's should hire you for...
You made the ferry for here, then you
Yeah.
made the casino a ferry. The casino could park in front of Edgewater in the Bronx, it could park in front of City Island, it could park, and like the Island Current, it could just go around the Long Island Sound.
You know what? Maybe they should hire you for ideas and a consultant. That sounds good. Some people might like that.
You could put the free store in the daycare.
Yep.
No, hold on, hear me out.
Yes.
Jeff Bezos made a free store for
Uh-huh.
families only,
Uh-huh.
for families that struggle.
Uh-huh.
If you put the free store in the daycare, you can open up a state-funded licensed daycare, and it can hold 6 weeks to 3 years old, and it can also.
Can we put the skunks on the raccoons on this thing as well?
You put like a school store in it, if it's part of the
I'm
community.
just trying to keep it light here as we round up this meeting.
It's a good place to put the store.
No, absolutely. I hear you, Miss. I hear you. One other thing, Patrick Gannon, who's right over here, sits on the board of Jacoby, the Community Advisory Board, of which was my full-time job. He wanted me to let everyone know that the Community Advisory Board on which he sits, applications are open. If you're interested, see Mr. Gannon after the meeting. If you'd like to be on the Community Advisory Board for Jacoby Hospital.
What does that entail?
Yeah,
It's a-
well, what is the objective of that organization? What is their
I'll
purpose?
tell you. There we go.
Okay.
Hold on. Come on down, Patrick. You're going to help us round this out here, sir.
Okay, it's an honor to be a member of this community advisory board. Hospitals in New York City and the Bronx, Jacoby, North Central Bronx, 2 hospitals. And what happens is we meet once a month. They bring in a lot of people. They bring in a lot of big shots like the CEO, the chief executive officer, the chief medical officer, the chief nurse. All of these big shots from these hospitals come down and give a talk to the community advisory board about the things that they're pursuing at any particular time. And what they're doing is they're looking at us, the community, to be aware of it, what's on their minds, what's their projects that they're working on, and how we think about them. Do we have any comments to help them bring to our kind of thinking? And it's amazing the kind of discussions that gives rise to. And I'm truly honored to be a member of that. I've been there for a year. And just this last meeting, they said, and they know I'm from City Island, and they know the kind of people that are on City Island, and that's good. And they said, why don't you try and get some people from City Island to join us? And I said, okay, I'll see what I can do. So here I am. And John was the one who got me my original company.
That's true. I thought you'd be a good member for it, and I'm proud that you took it and ran with it in stride. So if you were interested, see Patrick after the meeting or email us at cityonrising@gmail.com and we will get you an application. But again, when we ask everybody, when we send out the meeting notice and we say, do you want something added to the agenda? Let this meeting tonight be a good example. Unless it's something crazy, we let you come right on and you can give your pitch or ask your question or whatever it is. Not that Jacoby was crazy, but you know what I'm talking about. If you have an issue or something you want to take charge of, we will use this platform to help build up anyone in the community and try to get good things done. Does anyone have anything before we conclude for the rest of the night? Going once. Going twice. Cheryl.
I don't think a lot of people know what this committee has done. I did not know when I moved here 24 years ago that the workers on this island for how many years did not have a way to get home.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the restaurant.
That's right.
If I had known that, just the fact that this committee did that, you did that.
Among other people, yes.
Right, but it makes a huge difference.
100%. 100%. And people, I'm going to just interrupt you because people said the Bronx 29 bus would never run 24/7. That was an unrealistic goal. It was going to cost too much money. Stop wasting your time. You're tilting at windmills, Don Quixote, all this other stuff. The same people who said that now say we can't do the ferry.
Yes.
So just remember that.
I have a question too.
Sure.
The workers.
Oh, just 1 second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just
No,
wanted to
I think that's true.
Yes.
And I think maybe we should have a sign that says something to that effect.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
that would mean a lot to me because I lived here for 20 years before I found out that these workers did not have a way home after 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
No.
I would have been out protesting.
From the-
That's how that girl got killed.
Yeah.
She was coming from
Part
the
of that.
restaurant, she was
Yeah.
riding a bike.
Gabrielle Aguilar, that's
Yeah,
correct.
she was riding a bike because there was no bus service and she
That's
got
right.
hit by a car. Now midnight.
Between the bus to the flood sensors to some of the mutual aid efforts that David has led to the speed cameras to one of the lights, but not the other light, even though not everyone loves the traffic lights, to repairing Lake Orchard, to the Middlefruit Moat, which is still a work in progress on one side. We do try to do a lot, and we appreciate you mentioning that. Paige.
I just have a question. Has ICE been on City Island? Do we know if they've come snooping around?
Not to my knowledge, but it's something.
Not yet. Yeah.
Yes.
Again, everybody, it's the same reality we're living with right now. And, folks remember, know your rights. There are know your rights segments all over. They're on YouTube. If someone doesn't have a warrant, you do not need to let them into your house. You do not need to open up the door. If you are not being detained, you do not need to necessarily provide identification. There's a lot of protections, and let's make sure, this is a community with a lot of restaurants, and I'm going to be very blunt. I've lived on this community over 30 years. There's more than a few undocumented people on the streets of City Island. There are neighbors, there are friends, there are people who work very hard for a living, there are folks who send their kids to the school, and they're as much a part of City Island as anyone else, and we need to do everything in our power to keep our neighbors here. Go ahead, sir.
Even if they're, I agree that you should do everything to protect undocumented people, but even people who live on this island who are permanent residents or who have green cards, they're at risk as well.
100% correct. Thank you for
So we
saying
need to just be aware of the fact that everybody, there's no situation that's not potentially dangerous or something.
Thank you for that, and we're going to do a Know Your Rights, we'll arrange for a Know Your Rights segment so people can, we'll work together, we'll arrange a Know Your Rights thing so people can just be aware of what's going on.
We need to resist that, and we need to watch out for each other.
Thank you. Well said. Anyone else? Let's end on that wonderful note. Let's all look out for each other, and let's try to build a better community. Thank you all for coming out here tonight. Great turnout, everybody.
And if anyone wants to check in with me about my police car, I'll be sitting here for a little while with a list.